Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the Cosmic Force. And on tonight's episode, we are talking about some of the wildest, craziest, what just happened moments in Star Wars comics. It's going to be lots of fun tonight. We're going to be talking about both Legends and canon comics tonight, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get into that, let us go around the room and say hi to the rest of the team here. And we start what we always do with Emma. Emma, how are we doing tonight?
Yes, hello everyone. Doing well. It was very warm here where I am today, 68. That's like pretty much summer. So yeah, it was good. It's kind of windy though. It's been creating some screaming sounds from my window, which is great. So hopefully you guys don't hear that. But yeah, doing good, and had some good comics today too.
Yes, we do. Some pretty memorable comics. And let's go head over to Caleb, who I have this new shirt and I was showing off tonight. And then Caleb goes on and tells me and wears this new shirt and completely upstages me because Caleb, retell the story about exactly how you got to this shirt.
Well, this shirt I first wore last Thursday, so just barely missed time for last week's show. But this is a shirt that my wife was walking around Joann's, not a clothing store, not Michael's, Joann's, and saw the fabric with all these nice Mandalorian helmets and thought, ooh, I can make a shirt of that. So she made two shirts, one for me and one for her. So, next con we go to will probably be that annoying couple with matching shirts, but
not annoying at all.
That's exactly.
Awesome. It's so cute.
It's a really nice shirt. Like this is like one of the first things that she's like really made as just like a normal streetwear. And I've already worn it out, outside to like grocery stores once. And this will be a standard operating here on the show from now on. So you'll see this again, I can assure you.
Yes, that is an awesome shirt, and we gotta talk to your wife about making some Cosmic Force shirts for all of us to wear. Because if she's as talented to wear that, I would love to be able to get something for the whole team. That is awesome. All right, and we end with Jacob. How are we doing tonight? How is law school treating you this semester?
Oh, it's someone of my friends texted me. He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, not good." But it's spring break soon, so I got that going for me, which will be nice. And hey, I always have Star Wars, so
Exactly.
It could be worse.
It absolutely could be worse. Apparently, Jared says, shout out to the Ice Storm for the chance to catch the show live. So that is awesome, Jared, because we're going to be talking about some Legends comics tonight. So hopefully you're staying safe down there while you're watching the show live. For the rest of you, if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. We are a Star Wars comics podcast that broadcasts live right here on youtube.com/Utini every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And if you can't join us live, that's quite okay, because we are also available on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. We are also a part of the Utini podcast network of nearly a dozen shows and a Discord channel at utini.com/Discord with more than 1,000 members and dozens of channels to choose from. If you like what you see and you want to say thanks, then head over to our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Utini, where for as little as $5 a month, you can gain exclusive access to the entire Utini podcast network of shows, as well as exclusive merch and community involvement activities. So before we get started with the normal show, we do have a bit of news, and unfortunately, we do have a little bit of sad news. Jacob, do you want to go ahead and read this little news segment here?
Yeah, I can do that. There we go. So sad news we found out this week. Legendary Star Wars comics author Tom Veitch passed away at the age of 80. It leaves quite the legacy behind with, huge titles such as Dark Empire 1, Dark Empire 2, Empire's End, and Tales of the Jedi. This honestly, I think we found out maybe was it Monday or sometime over the weekend, and it was pretty crazy because at least for me, his stuff is 100% in my rundown of this episode, and I was like, oh yeah, absolutely I have to talk about Dark Empire if we're going to talk about insane comic stuff, because what is Dark Empire if not insane in the best of way. And then this happened, so it very sad, and leaves behind quite the legacy and a family as well. So sad day in Star Wars for such a huge influential person in the the coming out of the so-called dark ages of Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Rest
really,
in peace.
yes, I really think that he is up there with the Timothy Zahns of without his contribution, we're not here. The show doesn't exist. This
Yep.
This fandom, this saga is not. I don't know if it carries the weight that it does for 40 plus years. So we owe a lot of credit to him and the other creative founders of this of our fandom. So rest in peace to him, and we're all thinking about his family. So on to a little bit of lighter news now. There was a little bit of a Comixology transition. Emma, you have Comixology, correct?
I do. Yes.
So
this has been an
can you
interesting
give us a
change.
little bit of a firsthand rundown of what exactly happened here?
Yeah. So Comixology has been owned by Amazon for, I think, forever, maybe.
They bought them out early, but it's been a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. But now they've really made a change to integrate it in with Amazon in a much more thorough manner, especially with Kindle content. So basically, if you go into your Kindle library, all your Comixology stuff will be there, which is kind of wild. The other thing is that the Comixology website does not exist anymore, which I found out the hard way today when I was going to read my comics on my laptop, and I typed in Comixology.com and it took me right to Amazon.com. So you have to subscribe to comics and buy comics through Amazon like you would a Kindle book or toilet paper. So it's kind of crazy. The other thing is that the app has changed significantly in the layout, in the organization. Some people are not hugely fanatical about it. I don't know how I stand on that yet. It's kind of hard to see, like, I really liked the smart list feature of the old app. Like, that was my favorite thing. I only left it on that because it showed what you had bought recently, what you had read recently, what it thinks you might want to read soon. That was really nice. Now there's only like 2 sections and only one of them has your library in it. So it's definitely an interesting change. I think it's an okay change, but I hope that some things get better, especially with desktop reading. Also, they charged the wrong credit card with my subscriptions today, even though it was set on the other credit card. So that was frustrating. But yeah, I hope that they smooth out some things. And yeah, there's definitely been some discourse about it for sure.
Yeah, I've heard there's 2 big issues. Is one, it really degrades the ability to enjoy splash pages
It really
because
does,
it really shrinks the image that you can see. And 2, it really pushes the traditional Amazon store of like recommendations and other things that purchase these other things instead of like, hey, here's all of your list of comics that you already own.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it feels weird to go to, buy, groceries and then your comics in the same place. Like, it just doesn't feel like a smooth shopping experience, especially like, when you're looking at your comics, they recommend you like Funkos, and it's like, that's great, you know me really well, but like, do I need this while I'm reading comics? You know what I mean? So
and now
I don't know. It's definitely a business decision for sure.
And now you know why they made a change, so you can see the Funkos
Yes.
next to the comic issues.
Yeah, that's I feel targeted. It's not nice.
Yeah. And there are a few other issues. Like, I know we found out recently that because Frank on our database team handles a lot of the link creations for our affiliate links, and like he just like can't find Star Wars like IDW single issue comics digitally on Amazon at all. And I think it's probably an issue of him being in EU Amazon instead of US Amazon. Like, for me, it's like, oh, Frank, I know what you're talking about. Like, I just like searched it and it was like one of the top 3 results, but he can't find it. So I think there might be some region issues there. Some people have complained about lower quality like scans, like the image, like the pages just look worse in the Amazon one. I haven't looked into it much myself yet.
I did
So
notice that on the Kindle Cloud Reader. That's the only way you can read it on desktop right now, other than the
Mhm.
Kindle app. And the Cloud Reader was very low quality images. The app is totally fine. Like on my iPad, I didn't notice a difference other than like the layout difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the actual comic quality itself, it did not change in the app.
Yeah, and like there was also issues of some people were like, it's really hard to see my collection now, but I feel like I lost some comic books that I had purchased when it transitioned. So I don't know. But yeah, like I said earlier, we do have affiliate links on the website. The fact that like over 2,000 links just became worthless or wrong is tragic. So if you're looking
Yeah.
for Star Wars comics on our website for at least like the next couple weeks at a minimum, you might have a little harder time than normal. If you still like, really are gung ho and love us a lot, what you can do is click any of our affiliate links. Just go to like Light of the Jedi, click the affiliate link, and then from there, go buy your comics, and it will still give us money. So if you're a super fan and are very dedicated, we'd love you for doing that. But we will do our best to correct as many of those links as we can going forward.
I wonder if the Amazon links will work now.
That some of them do, a lot of them do.
Okay.
We're like what we've done for a lot of it is just like got rid of Comixology links, but not especially with the big issue right now is IDW comics. Getting those on Amazon, we have to probably redo that. But yeah, hopefully it works. The one thing, be careful. Some of our, especially again with IDW, especially, it might send you to a comic book and you're like, why is this comic book $15? It's because Amazon has a separate listing for a physical issue and a digital issue. Like not just like, the like book where I can click on paperback or hardcover, like the little tiles. It's just like completely separate pages. So you might, if you accidentally end up on one that looks way too expensive, don't buy it. Go find like the Kindle page. So yeah.
That is great insight. Appreciate you sharing that because I'm sure there are a lot of confused users out there. So, all right. And we have one last piece of news this week. As IDW is transitioning out of the Star Wars publishing, Dark Horse is transitioning back in. And Caleb, we have a new omnibus coming in the next couple of months.
Yes. This was an omnibus that I think all of us here on the team, when it was announced, was very surprised. Not because we didn't see it coming, because we never thought it would happen, just because we had no idea what it was. This is the Rebels magazine omnibus from Dark Horse. This is collecting the Rebels magazine's issues, essentially 1 through 35, 37, 39, and then the Rebels animation magazine 1 through 4. I think if I remember correctly, this was a German only edition, and they translate a few throughout the EU, but this will be the first time it will be officially available in America. If I remember my preview correctly.
There was, so if you want to learn more about this, just go tag Trevor in Discord because he's the expert. Clearly, he had made his own like custom bound copy of this because it was you just couldn't get it. Some like they had put out, it was all German stuff. They'd put some of it out in the UK, but not all of it. So of course he had to make it himself. But I don't know if any of it has ever been available in the US. So this is actually pretty surprising. And it's $30. So I mean, for me, I'm probably gonna buy it because it's not something on Marvel Unlimited as of right now. Maybe when it gets repackaged with Dark Horse, who knows how that's gonna work going forward.
$30 and omnibus in the same sentence. I mean, that's a pretty easy sell for this
exactly
community.
Unless these are like page long comics. Who knows how much?
I think they're probably shorter, but still, even like it's like 40 some odd issues. I don't know if they're short. I'm still paying less than $1 per issue. So
exactly,
fine by me.
That's about to say. And the good news is this is encouraging that Star Wars is still publishing and bringing back old things that people had long forgotten about. So if you ever miss a printing on a reissue of certain comics, there's a good chance it will eventually come back into the light somehow. As they say, nothing is ever really gone.
Unless it's Epic Collection New Republic Volume 4, and then in which case, no, it is not coming back. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into our weekly pull list. It's continuing to be sort of a downer because this is the last issue for IDW this week, Jacob.
Yes, this is the last thing ever for, well, and then for the foreseeable future from IDW and Star Wars. No more trade paperbacks, which yes is a problem. But this is it. It's High Republic Adventures number 13, written by Daniel Jose Older with art from Harvey Tolabau. The colorist is Rebecca Nalty, and the letterer is Jake M. Wood. And then we have Volume 2, the last trade paperback for High Republic Adventures. Again, written by Daniel Jose Older, and the cover is by Nick Brokenshire. This contains not what you think it would. It contains volume one left off at issue 5. This collects issues 6 through 8, the annual, and the free comic book day issue. And so that leaves out 9 through 13, which is a lot of issues and tells a lot of story.
A lot of good, important story.
Yes, especially it ties in a lot with Midnight Horizon. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of hope that when Dark Horse picks up the license, because we know now that Dark Horse is it's literally called High Republic Adventures. That's what Daniel Jose Older's graphic novel is called. So maybe there's some hope that they will reprint or not reprint, but print for the first time a third volume. Who knows if it's going to be this tiny size, so it might not match, and all your bookshelf, uniformity people are going to freak out, myself included.
Caroline in our Slack would not be happy about that, about having the synergy of her shelves be all messed up.
I did find out recently this week from Mike in Discord that you can get UK versions of the trade paperbacks that are normal size. So now I feel like I need to buy them again, unfortunately. But we'll see.
Now, as a reminder, that even though it's hard to say whether or not this move was expected or not, but Daniel Jose Older has put out on Twitter that this does not interfere with his storytelling. This comic has reached a natural stopping point, and he has led us to believe, I'll word it that way, that story will continue in some form or fashion down the road. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I think it's safe to assume that I hesitate to say that it's safe to assume that phase 3 will be, take up after where we are right now. But I think there's a good chance, it follows that Star Wars pattern.
Right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into what we're loving. Just as a reminder, all these links are listed down below in our description, in case you haven't picked those up yet. But as we move on to what we're loving, Jacob, you have once again chosen our staff selection of the week, and it is from something that was this from what last week's issue or art was from too?
What was last week's art from? I don't even remember.
I feel like I'm seeing Dark Empire all over.
No, last week was very similar, and I get why you said that. It was the Star Wars Valentine's Day special that had like that very saturated art style. But no, this is from again in honor of Tom Veitch. This is from Dark Empire issue number 2, not Dark Empire 2, with of course art by the iconic Cam Kennedy. It is one big old World Devastator. So yeah, it's. There's a lot of art to choose from in Dark Empire that I could have gone with, and to be honest, my decision was partially influenced by the fact that before the show was going on, Marvel Unlimited was not working on desktop, so I was frantically screenshotting on my phone and transferring to Google Drive all of the art for this show. So I did not take the most close look at what I was picking, but it's still a pretty iconic panel if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very unique ship. Should we call it a ship?
It's a behemoth.
It's a vessel.
There you go. I like that vessel. It's a vessel.
Flying object.
It's a super weapon.
All right, Caleb, you've got our community submission of the week.
Exactly. This one comes from Blind Fates from the Dr. Aphra 2020 version, issue 12, with artist of Ming-Kyu Jung and colorist Rochelle Rosenberg. In context, this is when Dr. Aphra is at the solo auction and realizes that Darth Vader has shown up. And last time that she checked, Darth Vader had successfully almost killed her twice. So she is doing everything she can to not make eye contact with the Dark Lord of the Sith. So, that was a kind of a great cliffhanger issue there, as we get to realize that just how bad a situation she is in. So really great stuff. Art. It's kind of fun to see Darth Vader in a very not like head to toe showing up here, but still being just as intimidating and like, oh no, his presence here is being very felt and very physical.
I feel like he looks very McQuarrie-esque here. I can't really put my finger
I can
on
see
why,
that.
but it just
Yeah.
feels like McQuarrie. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like you can
Like
really
it.
see the triangle in his front there. Like it's almost
Yeah,
more apparent.
Yeah, it's almost like the helmet is like more flat, but not in a bad way, I guess. I don't know. It's cool. I really like it.
Absolutely. So Blind Fates, you win this week. Maybe you'll win next week. Let's see what you submit or what other people have on our Discord. The Cosmic Force show. Show any Star Wars work you are interested in. Doesn't have to be recent, can be old, doesn't have to be a full page, can just be a single panel. Just hit us up, post up there, and you might be featured this very next week.
All right, let's move on to our last segment of our open here with what we're reading. And I think we're going to go ahead and just check in with Caleb as he makes his way catching up with the High Republic. So how are we doing with that with that catch up?
I just ticked over halfway through the audiobook of The Fallen Star, and boy,
Nice.
it's fallen. It's fallen real bad. Like, this is not a spoiler, but there's one ship out there that's called the Ace of Staves. And every time that comes up, I can't help but think of the Motorhead song.
Yes.
Like every single time. Hey, Ace of Staves. I'm like, no, stop that. Go back. This is Star Wars. It's completely different. It's using the tarot deck or the Sabak deck. But needless to say, it's going very well. By that, I mean, it's going very badly for our heroes, but it's nice to see them on the ropes after riding high for so long. So,
and are you going to be reading Midnight Horizon as well, or are you done with your catch up after this?
I will read Midnight Horizon. I will take a couple, maybe about a week or so off of just doing other like podcasts and catching up on other small things. Just, reading through it one after the other is an easy way to get burnout. Even though they're different authors, it's a lot of Star Wars and a lot of Jedi all at once. So take breaks between them, slowing it down. So therefore I can like really ferment each one in my mind. So they're not all bleeding together, so I can, have a much more distinct, this was Fallen Stars stuff. And then this will be Midnight Horizon's story beats. So that's the plan.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. We are running a long open tonight, so we're going to go ahead and take a very quick break, and then when we come back we are going to talk about crazy moments in Star Wars comics. So we will be right back.
It's the best back cover since Star Wars Episode 1 hardcover novelization, the one with young Anakin, because on the back, just to remind y'all, is a full headshot of Watto.
It's so big.
I think I brought this up on one of the earliest episodes of the Living Force ever, and I thought I'd bring it back.
Oh my God, yeah.
Series and all of Legends. What do you guys think? Could it be the X-Wing series? Might just be the most romance-intensive series ever. And we're not just talking about the scene where Corran Horn describes his love affair with an otter. I mean, a Salonian that he hooked up with her and then he broke out in chives.
Yeah, not chives.
Not
chives.
What's it called? The bumps?
Hives, dude. Hives.
Chives go on your potato.
I'm hearing you say the same thing.
Chives, what you put on the under potato. No C. Hives.
Hives.
Not chives.
What did I say?
Chives.
It's not a very common story to approach. Yeah, again, drawing the complex family tree of Django to clone identical son to clone all identical millions of sons, but they're a generation older. So then the son is kind of all Jango's equal, but then Boba is a generation younger, but then that clone's son is Boba's age, but then is Boba his dad or his nephew or his uncle or his cousin? It's like
All right, we are back, and like I said, tonight's episode is all about crazy moments in comics, and it's nice when we get a little bit of a downtime in trade paperbacks coming out or big news events coming out, because we get to do these sorts of fun sort of topics. And this was a topic that was actually brought to us by Emma. So Emma, I'm going to kind of let you kind of explain what the origin story of this was and what the criteria was for us choosing our stories tonight.
Yeah, this is probably one of the wildest origin stories of a show topic ever. I was playing Halo, which is, for those that don't know, it's a video game, multiplayer video game on Xbox with Tom from our Discord channel, and he just brought this random idea to me. He's like, "This would make for a great show. Is to talk about just like the craziest moments that you love. Maybe no one else loves them, but you love them." Right. And he explained it way better than I just did. So I brought the idea to the guys, saying like, comics are literally the craziest media in Star Wars. We could probably do like 10 shows about it, but let's just cut it down to one and pick some of our favorite crazy Star Wars moments. And in terms of criteria, there really weren't any. I mean, all it had to be was crazy. It could be from canon or Legends. Legends tended to have some of the crazier things. I think I picked all of them from canon because I wasn't as familiar, or I'm not as familiar with Legends comics. So yeah, we just kind of picked from the top of our heads and had some fun with it. So I can't wait to hear your list, and I'm excited to share mine as well.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I was gonna say, Caleb, you are first in the show notes here, so we're gonna sit back and we're gonna enjoy these crazy moments.
Exactly. This was my fault because when I was making the show lists, I always start with myself, and I always put myself as the starting batter here. So this one, the first moment comes from the 77 issue. This will not be the last time we see this comic series specifically listed, but this one, the main event happens between issues 19 and 22, when Han Solo, even though he's traveling with the rest of the Star Warriors throughout that expedition, he's strapped for cash. So he does the reasonable thing and signs up for a death game. Yes, that's right.
Like Russian roulette.
like Russian roulette. It's like, I don't have any money to gamble with, but they're looking for gladiators to fight to the death, so I'll do this. Like, I didn't realize that Han Solo was acting like my Skyrim character in this moment. Of like, hey, look, a side quest. I'll do this right now. Like, I'll just put the main thing on hold and go like battle four-armed gundarks with poison daggers and a power shield. Like, literally, he has a glowing mace and shield. Like, it's the wildest thing that comes out of nowhere, but it's also like just off the first movie and what sci-fi was in the late 70s. It makes perfect sense. Right now, if it were to come out, I think like it would be a huge firestorm, because everyone would look at this and say it's the dumbest thing ever. But when you take it with the context of what it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Boba Fett did fight in a gladiatorial pit with the giant Spider Woman. So is this really that different?
True, but he wasn't using medieval radiation weapons.
Well, here's the thing. It's not super crazy because here Han is built like a Power of the Force action figure, so there's no way he could lose.
Oh, true. Like these were all Fabio level of sword and sandals sorts of Han Solos, and he was definitely a different cut of person in these early editions. I will do so after this one. I do want to have an honorable mention real quick. I forgot to get it in so that Jacob couldn't get the artwork for it, but in the end of the mid of Afra volume 4, I think it is, or 5, issue 25, we reveal that Dr. Ezevan is still alive, and I love it because it pulls a minor character from the movies back into the canon, and just such a small little thing that changes everything at once. anyway, if you've read it, you know what I mean. I hadn't forgotten about it. I just forgot about it for the longest time. Moving on. It's been a while since I talked about it. So my next issue is from Lando number 5. And this is the greatest moment of the series and why it's my favorite comic of all time. Lando number 5, blasters are for suckers. After being teased out the entire series, how Lando is like icky around guns, doesn't like violence, can always talk his way out of a fight. He is face to face with a Sith-infused cat monster lightsaber wielding martial artist. And when it comes down to the wire, he bluffs and then pulls his blaster. And I love the progression here of how you see him shoot the hand out of the lightsaber, the hand holding lightsaber first, and then shoot center of mass. So he's seen the hull of it. So he knows lightsabers can deflect blasters. So he, targets that first and then goes for the kill shot. Just like an amazing moment of like surprise for this comic. In the next panel, Lobot's talking with him and, to quote, you hate blasters. I was bluffing, replies Lando. Your entire life?
That's such a Lando thing to do.
It's such a Lando sort of thing. And like he goes on to say, like, listen, the only people who know better are dead. And that's such like the gambler sort of fallacy of, Lando is a great gambler because he doesn't really gamble. He always has the ace in his sleeve, and being really good when shooting people, dead between the eyes is his ace in the sleeve. This is how he's gotten so far in life, is he doesn't ever trust the luck of the gamble. He always knows where it's going to lay. So
I'm so glad this miniseries keeps coming up, because like it's living up to its legend. I remember you continued to pitch this as an awesome comic, and I don't think any of us, to be honest, really bought into that when you first mentioned it. But it continues to come back, and every time it comes back, I enjoy it more and more. And this may or may not come up again later in this episode. Hint, hint. So I'm really glad that you've loved this so much, because I've really enjoyed this comic as well.
Absolutely. So those are my 2 picks for crazy comic moments. So let's keep this train rolling. And Emma, you're the mistress of this whole mayhem here. Why don't you give us a couple of your picks?
Yeah. So I just realized I have like way more picks than you guys. I feel so bad. Okay, let's just start at the beginning here. From Darth Vader, the 2015 series, issue number 10. There's a scene with Afra, 000, and BT1 interrogating the Naboo mortician about Padme's death. And I remember when I saw this scene, I was like, wow, this is insane. We're like interrogating the mortician from Naboo with a comics original character so that Darth Vader can know what happened to Padme. Like that is the craziest sentence. It's insane. Also, just in general, it was very violent and kind of disturbing as well. Especially like for how Star Wars comics usually are. It was definitely kind of like dark, I think. So it made it even crazier. So that was my first pick. And then my second pick here also has to do with Naboo. It's from Darth Vader, the 2020 series, issue number 4. And that is the appearance of the Amidalans. I remember screaming. I think Eric and I were screaming at each other. We could hear each other from Chicago to Maine. We could hear each other when this happened, because we've got Sabe and a bunch of the other old handmaidens. Rick Olay, like freaking Rick Olay, like seriously, just insane, because they loved Padme so much that they were like, we're gonna avenge her death because we know you did it, Darth Vader. And there's something really telling about that. Like, as cool as it is to see these characters again, when you think about the impetus for the Amidalans, it's really special, because that tells you that Padme was a special woman, that these people would in some cases like die for her because they cared about her so much. So very moving, but also very cool. So I love that. This one's a classic. Vader down number 1. All I am surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Ooh,
I mean,
yeah.
do I need to say anything else? This was crazy.
The only thing I feel like that like comes close in this like era of comics was the, it's like, you kill my father. It's like, you have no idea how much that narrows it down.
Like I've killed
yes.
a lot of fathers.
Yeah, you have to be more specific.
Exactly.
Yes,
And
that is
that's
great.
a great sort of thing, but like just the image of him being surrounded out all sides by like 300 like rebel troopers and saying, and I think they quote, they surround him and yell,
"We have you
surrender. It's like
surrounded."
surrender, we have you surrounded. It's like, cool, lay down your arms and you'll all live. Just like I accept your surrender.
Oh my god. Yeah, absolutely insane. Because you know that Vader is gonna like absolutely destroy all of those people. And yeah, it was
Spoiler
it was
warning,
pretty
he
epic.
did.
He did pretty easily. All right, next one. I had to include something from my favorite Mutiny at Mon Cala. So that's Star Wars 2015, specifically issue number 41. This is when C-3PO and Tunga, who is the like shape-shifting actor dude, they act together in a Mon Calan opera to buy time. Like, how crazy is it? Look at this outfit. Look at this.
I just
mean,
that's what I'm
C-3PO is
laughing
dressed
at.
up. It's insane. He has a mohawk, you guys. I mean, come on.
I have
Doesn't get any better
I have the
than that.
YouTube feed up, which is a little bit behind us live, so I can keep an eye on the chat. And his C-3PO just came up, and it was just hilarious. I'm sorry.
So it's a is it
No, you're good.
is it a rock opera specifically? Like I know it's a Mon
It
Cala
must
opera.
No,
Yeah,
he was
Yeah,
the shapeshifter was trying to disguise them because they were trying to escape from the Empire. So he dressed them up so that no one would recognize them. No one would give them a second glance, which I think kind of worked.
They were acting. They were on stage.
But
Oh, yeah.
they were the decoy though, like right? Didn't
Well,
they
yeah.
go on
Well,
stage
Han
because?
and Leia were like trying to rescue the prince.
Yeah, Prince Lee.
Yeah,
Shaw.
okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
they had to
That's right.
stall because they had the real Moff. So
Right.
fun
Yeah.
fun
So like, yeah,
times.
they were seeing C-3PO act like insane because he is the most, he wants to follow the rules. He doesn't want to do anything silly, but this is like the epitome of silly. But at the same time, he was enjoying it because
But
he
it's also-
knows Mon Calan lore.
I was about to say it's also opera, which is like his big thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely. So I'm glad that there was something crazy from my favorites. Speaking of crazy, when we all saw this, we all freaked out a bit. It was from the High Republic number 6, Avar Kriss riding a Rancor. She did it before Boba did it. She did it before it was cool, and it was pretty damn cool then too. I mean,
She
so
did like
cool.
240 years before Boba did it, to be fair. Yeah,
That's
been,
very
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Avar Kriss, honorary night sister of Dathomir?
Dathomir.
Question mark.
I don't know.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, that was that actually that whole arc was kind of crazy, like, working with the Hutts and
Skier
yeah,
becoming like half Dringear for a hot minute, and
yeah,
a lot of weird stuff going on.
a lot of weird stuff.
The
Star Wars
inspiration
comics,
for
crazy.
the inspiration for my Utini Fantasy Football League team name, the Divek Rancor Riders,
That's
was this cover.
right.
Yep.
Love it. Oh my gosh, that's got to tell you how big it was when it came out. All right, next up. Speaking of Hutts, Baku, the jacked Hutt from Darth Vader 2020 number 12. A jacked Hutt, you guys. How do we feel about this?
Not good.
I'm not happy reliving this.
It's scary to know that he works out,
It's just, it's a little demoralizing to have, there's a Hutt that has better abs than I do.
I was literally about to say
I
that.
was going there.
I know
too.
we have unrealistic body standards in comics, but you don't
This
have to
dude's
shame me.
He's a literal
like this.
slug. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't even out of Legacy of the Force era either. This is brand new stuff too.
Right. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, like in Book of Boba Fett, we've got these two like really fat ones that they can't even walk. They're carried around, and then we've got Jacked Hutt over here. Like, what the heck, guys? I mean, all the other Hutts are doing it wrong. That's for sure.
Apparently.
I feel so bad. This is long. I've got 3 more here. I had to include Badass Jocasta Nu from Darth Vader 2017, issue number 10. When I was reading this for the first time, it was a little bit after it had come out, before I had read it for the first time. And I was like, whoa, how did I not know about this? I didn't even think I didn't even think she like owned a lightsaber or knew how to use one. I thought she was just like a simple librarian, but no, she's like secretly a badass. It's great. Love it.
Hey, don't threaten her library, okay?
No.
Don't touch her books.
Don't
She will
dare
do
touch her
anything.
books.
And you better stay quiet while you're in there, damn it, you know. All right. This whole issue is the epitome of crazy. It might be one of the craziest things ever.
This was an
issue
honorable
called-
mention for me.
No.
Really? Yeah,
Yes, it
No,
was.
why did I bring this up the first time?
I know. Well, we all talked about it a ton when we were talking about Age of Rebellion. So this is the Age of Rebellion special called Stolen Valor, which features Biggs and Porkins on a vacation together.
I didn't
and there's a
remember
dinosaur?
where this was from, so that's why I didn't list it. But I'm very, very happy that you included it in your list.
Yeah, it took me a little bit to find it too. I'm not gonna lie. It is very random. I don't know who made this up, but I'd like to go inside their mind for a little bit. I mean, that looks like the dinosaur from the holiday special, honestly. But you know, and there is that's Parkins shirtless, I think. So we've got another like half naked one to add to the collection.
Yes, I
And-
remember this was Biggs and Porkins, and this was also featuring a healthy dose of nihilism and like the whole pointlessness of human struggle.
Yeah, it
It
was
got kind of dark.
it was basically them taking a mental health break
Yes.
from
Yes.
war,
Yes.
and then they come back and like they're like, we need a mental health break from war, and then they come back and they're like, hey, yeah, where's my friend? It's like, oh yeah, while you were gone, he died. It's like, oh
Oh my god,
Okay.
I kind of totally forgot about
yeah,
that.
it's
Oh well, we'll just go die.
But when you see this art, I mean, it's kind of hard to remember what the actual story is about.
Exactly. I know. I didn't read it again. I just remembered that they like went on vacation, but you're right. It was like this sad story, and that kind of makes it even more crazy.
it looks
Oh,
like
break-
Love it.
the
Breaking news in the chat.
Oh, what do we got? What do we got? Oh, the
The-
dinosaur from the holiday special
dinosaur
is
from-
being featured tomorrow night on Legends Look Back.
They're doing a
Okay.
best Boba Fett's moment, so that'll be exciting. I did
Can't
find
wait to see that.
the writer for this comic book is named John Adams, not the president or that other president, but John Adams, and he that's the only thing he's ever written for Star Wars according to the Wook. So
I'd
yeah.
like to see more from him,
What
to
a
be
lasting
honest.
legacy.
like. And
He
boy, did
made sure to leave his fingerprints on it.
that
definitely.
that's true. Oh, he also
All right,
did the
last one from-
pencils for it.
oh.
Okay, interesting.
Oh wow. Okay, I always
He's a-
love seeing like a writer artist combo. That's always cool.
There we go.
So if you want to continue this chat, make sure you tune in to Legends Look Back tomorrow night at 9:30
Yes,
for
absolutely.
more
I know I'm gonna
talk
be
about the
tuning in.
dinosaur.
I need to know more about this dinosaur for real. All right, last one from me here. This is extremely recent. It's a extremely minor spoiler. I don't even know if I would consider it a spoiler for Trail of Shadows #5. It's buckets of blood in his underwear.
But
And-
of blood.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Buckets of
buckets
blood.
of
Yes,
blood.
he's running away. We get to see a little bit of booty from buckets, and it was just I gasped when I saw it because I was like, wow, we have this Mount Rushmore, right, of naked characters in comics. Okay, we have Kanan, who we talked about recently. We have buckets of blood,
Wait,
and
well,
of
hold on.
course,
We have
naked
Naked Palps.
Palpatine.
Big Palps,
Of course,
and
yes.
Zuckus and
And Zuckus.
Yes. Yep. So that's 4. We've got like
We've
a
got our
whole
quota.
Hall of Fame.
Oh,
here.
man.
Yeah.
the Mount
Of
Rushmore.
course. This is by far one of the craziest things. Well, it was the craziest thing I've seen since Naked Zuckus, which actually wasn't that far away.
That's true.
So I don't know what to say. Anyways, that's my list. Thanks for being patient with me, guys.
All right, Tyler.
All
How do you
right,
top
my-
that?
I can't. I'm just gonna have to move on because there's no matching that. So I went into 2 Legends comics. My first one is from the 1977 run, issue number 48, named or titled "The Third Law." And the thing that got me about this, is Vader's entourage here that Jacob's got the art
Is that like
up on
Universal
screens.
movie monsters, basically?
Basically, so
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, hold on.
Swamp
Strap
thing- or not
yourselves
swamp,
in.
okay,
Strap
yeah.
yourself in. Yeah. Leia is on a financial mission with a Viscount Tardy, who is dressed in blue and totally looks like a TARDIS, to a planet to purchase some new X-wings. But Darth Vader also shows up on a diplomatic mission, later explained a mission of a financial nature with an interesting entourage. Yes, that's right. That is basically Swamp Thing,
Swamp
who
Thing,
is
creature from the Black Lagoon, I
or
messed
a
that
creature
up.
from the Black
Yeah.
Lagoon, sure.
Mm.
He's described as a high gravity creature. Dracula is a shapeshifter,
beer.
wink, wink, and a telekinetic valet that, we're just gonna say he has growths on his head. We're just gonna leave it at that. They end up getting in this. First off, they don't shoot at each other. Like they have like a very, imagine Tarkin and Leia on the Death Star and all of that banter back and forth, but in the streets of this random city and not immediately attacking each other. It's just crazy. Leia gets involved in a speeder chase where she drops Swamp Thing, creature from the Black Lagoon, through the core of the planet after she changes his density with a with a quote unquote stowaway gravitational field disruptor. I added in the handheld edition. Later on in the issue, Leia sort of flirts with Vader, where she's sort of like they're on this like butterfly garden, and she drops something, and she's like, "Oh, Vader, I dropped this. Would you be so kind?" Let's just like, wait, what?
That's gross.
Leia's escort actually ends up turning out to be a droid, and at the end of the day, Vader lets Leia purchase the X-wings after he takes the crown jewels of Alderaan, and then makes a bad credit score joke about Leia's purchase.
What is going on?
Just looking at the artwork and the creatures here, it's like, and then Scooby and the gang show up. Like that would not be out of the question.
Tyler, can we back up for like 2 seconds here? Is the vampire guy a skeleton? Am I seeing that right? Who's the skeleton?
I think it's a
down
different
there
guy
in the bottom
right?
left corner.
No.
That's a different guy?
So that
It's an
is
X-ray.
apparently you are this planet allows people to come in, but they are very tight, are with very loose restrictions, but they can't smuggle
Okay.
anything out. And apparently they get everything gets scanned as on the way out. And this guy had gold-plated ribs, and I guess that is smuggling gold off the planet. I really don't know, because
I thought you were
by the way,
talking about like he swallows the spice and he like
no, well, so these two panels, like the guy just runs off. You never see him again. So I have no idea. I cannot answer what is
Tyler,
going
this
on
is
with
too
this
much.
guy.
What issue is this again? I need to read
48.
it.
This is
48,
issue number
okay.
48 for the
For all
77 run.
For all the crap we give the Luke and Leia kiss, like this is like that's an extra layer we never thought about, is Leia flirting with Darth Vader. That's just something that none
Yeah.
of us ever saw. That's like
It's
even worse.
It was. That wasn't even the weirdest thing in the issue, and that just kind of tells you how crazy it was. So that was a lot
I have two
of fun.
comments about this. Number one, I had no idea that was Leia until you told me, because it doesn't look anything like her.
No, it does not.
No, number two, we always talk about punching Leia, in the canon comics. She's always punching people, right? Now she's throwing people into the planet core in
and
Legends. This is insane.
So not only did she do that, Vader sees this and says, "You should arrest her. Go arrest her, local police people, because she brought
She didn't hurt her.
She brought in she smuggled in a weapon, and she's like, I didn't smuggle this. This is a standard issue. What was it? Hold on. This is a standard issue gravitational field disruptor. I just changed his density." And I'm like, what is going on here?
She took her physics classes in university. She knows what she's doing.
That was
wild.
This was crazy. So
If it wasn't so crazy, I would have thought you made it up.
I mean, you'd have
Yeah.
thought this came out in. I wouldn't be surprised if this came out in like October, with all of the Universal creatures as Vader's entourage. So, My next choice, I only chose two, was Star Wars Tales from 1999. This was issue number 19, and this was kind of sort of a post. It was a short story at the end of the issue. It is, I called it in my notes, the Harrison Ford Inception, because it's a mini story where Chewie and Han land on a forested planet, quote, no longer far away. There's actually a bubble that says no longer far away. They find locals and they get into a fight. Chewie ends up getting stabbed with arrows and tomahawks, as well as Han. Han's in bad shape. And he pretty much knows that he's not going to make it back to the Falcon, and he dies. And it's actually, if it wasn't for the rest of this, it was actually a pretty moving scene, where he sits there and looks at Chewie and says, "I always, I bet you didn't think that I'd go like this, and your life that is fulfilled. Thank you." And he dies, and Chewbacca roars, and the natives have heard this, and they know this is the bellowing of the Sasquatch. Why is he called the Sasquatch? Because he's on Earth. We fast forward 126 years later, and there is an archaeologist in a very telling brown
have you not seen this before?
Stumbles across the cave. Yes, Indiana Jones.
What?
Though he's never seen anything like this, feels that this is a very similar. Feels that this is all familiar somehow. He ends up finding Han and realizing that Han was once humanoid. Decides he doesn't want to disturb the remains, and that he will leave everything untouched. And instead of searching for Sasquatch, will allow him to become the urban legend that he is. And this is actually, I believe this is actually the last panel. So it's actually that is Han in the tree, or not Han. Chewie. He's kind of looking on, very emotional in my opinion, looking at the remains of the Falcon, and overlooking Indiana Jones finding the remains of Han Solo on Earth. So Legends comics, everybody.
Absolutely wild. I had no idea this even existed. I was like, when this first came on the screen, I was like, wow, why would they design a character that looks so much like Indiana Jones?
It is Indiana
Because
Jones.
Because it is, yeah.
So those are my two big ones. I had three honorable mentions. What was it? That the Stolen Valor from Biggs and Porkins. That was hilarious. The entire Lando miniseries, the concept behind this, I remember talking about this in the round table. When I finished the final panel, I believe of issue 1 or is it issue 2, Caleb, where it says we've stolen Emperor Palpatine's pleasure yacht.
It's the end of issue 1. It's the
end of issue 1, and I was like, wait, what now? Because going into that, Palpatine pleasure yacht, that can go a lot of different ways, and
stop it, no.
it was very interesting. Luckily, it was just a bunch of Sith artifacts. So, but it was very funny.
Not a jacuzzi in sight.
And my third honorable mention was the most recent run of Darth Vader before we stopped for War of the Bounty Hunter, where he goes to Exegol. He ends up what seems like this telepathic Cthulhu. Like, it just gets crazy in the Darth Vader run. And I had to throw a little bit of canon in there, but none of these match the craziness that is the Legend stories, because oh boy, Legends is a wild ride.
I'm at a loss for words. that first one, absolutely. I don't remember the last time I've had such a visceral reaction to something. When you said threw him through the core of the planet, lost it.
Yes, and
I didn't hear anything.
I do have to say, Jared does say in the chat he has to rain in my parade. For the record, both of those choices are outside of the Legends universe proper. Yes, the Tales is sort of a alternate. I don't want to call it an alternate. Yeah, sort of a what if. I don't care what you tell me about issue 48. That's canon, and that's just that's just going to be in the Legends canon.
DJO says
clearly
changed my mind.
It's a D canon. It's going back to canon tiers.
So, all right, I'm done. Over to you, Jacob.
All right. So I don't know how to top that, but we're gonna start. So first off, of course, I had to go Dark Empire 2. I'm just gonna. I have my book in front of me. I'm gonna try and kind of summarize what happens here because basically, the Imperials are like going to siege this planet that is known for making droids.
Oh
So-
yeah.
This is just just this crazy back and forth. So the Empire goes to like take over the city that built the droid. They're sending in droids to take over the city that built the droids that they're sending in. If that makes sense. So they're sending in the SD9s to go take it out, which is like a destroyer droid. So then the city responds with, "Oh yeah, you got SD9s? Well, shoot, kid, that sucks because we got SD10s." So then they send out the SD10s, and it's something like, oh god. Yeah, they're like, yeah, you put out last year's model. We have them outmatched because the SD10s have the complete strategic like memory of the SD9s in their memory core. So then they go back and forth, and they're like, oh yeah, you got the SD10s. Well, sucks for you, kid. We got oh god, what are they? Shadow droids, which is what are on the screen right now. So the Empire sends those out. And you're like, oh yeah, whatever. It's just like a, looks like a vulture droid kind of, but from the 90s. No, it's way crazier than that. It is part of Umak Leth's murderous wonders. They are spacefaring war machines that are built around the brains of fallen Imperial fighter aces. So they took the brains of TIE fighter aces out and put them in a droid. And they are immersed in nutrient baths at the heart of the giant machines hardwired to tactics computers. The Shadow Cyborg's controllers exchange a blizzard of digital code with each other and with the command ship. Yeah, the black word boxes or text boxes that I blacked out are just all ones and zeros. It's just binary. So, just they're like, oh yeah, you got this droid. Well, sucks for you. I got this droid. And they're like, oh yeah, you got the better droid. Well, I got stormtrooper pilot cyborg robots. So.
We scrape some brains and put it in a jar. And then we put that jar in a plane, and then we put that plane in a bunch of guns.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's that beginning feels like 5-year-olds doing Yo Mama on the playground.
It's like
It really does.
It's the kid that changes the rules when he's losing the game. But
yeah, exactly.
With war.
That is wild.
So that was my one Legends pick. I have two canon picks. The first one is the Living Force Mountain from Star Wars 2015.
Oh, right.
It was like,
the Yoda story, right?
Yeah, we have like a Yoda flashback story, and Yoda like basically crashes on a planet that is Lord of the Flies planet with kids that kind of like have a pseudo like weak force power. That can tune into like these blue rocks on their planet, and they like throw them at their other friends and like drive off their parents. And then it turns out that the blue rocks that they're hurling are part of a giant living sentient force mountain. So yeah, you see Yoda teeny tiny in the corner compared to this giant thing. So that was pretty insane. And then to not make sure we get all of these sentient rock things. At the very end of the 2015 run, like the rebels are trying to draw Vader and the Empire to this uninhabited planet to blow it up and kill them, and then we find out that it's not uninhabited; it's inhabited by sentient rock beings that C-3PO can communicate with, and they like him because they are his metal ore brother, because rocks and metal.
Machines.
Yeah. So they're like, oh no, we planted all these bombs over the core of their planet that would destroy it, and now we can't kill them because there are living creatures there. And they're like running away. The Empire's come. They've like figured it out. They're trying to take them out. And as they're leaving, it turns out not just that there are sentient rocks on the planet, but the planet itself is one giant sentient rock like mother. And it like unfurls. You can see the scale there in the bottom right where its hand dwarfs the Star Destroyer. And then it just takes the Star Destroyer and then just crushes it. So, Star Wars 2015 went out. This was literally the last issue of Star Wars 2015. So went out on quite the bang.
Oh, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's
I wonder if like Geode is like a tiny, tiny little baby one of this. Yeah,
I think they're cousins,
Yeah.
It's kind of like Wookiees versus Ewoks.
Yes.
yeah, okay.
I can see that. Yeah.
Weren't Ewoks supposed to originally be like baby Wookiees or something like way back?
Well, he wanted it. George wanted it to be be Kashyyyk, but they, kind of ran into some problems with that. Or I think that was in episode 4. I don't remember how it worked. He wanted Kashyyyk. Yeah,
Whatever.
we ended up getting Endor. Anyways, we got it eventually.
All right, well, yeah, that's all my picks.
There's some really good picks. Like, is it sad that I just have now I've thought like of at least 2 other great moments that would be good? Maybe we'll come back and do this topic
Part
again when we
2.
run.
Oh, there's
when we run
plenty.
low
We should
on,
definitely do a part 2.
I just
yeah,
need-
it's
I
just
ju-
fun.
I just need to read 77. That's all I've like come to determine. It's like,
Like,
Yeah.
like
I
maybe
need to
we should
read
have a
that.
rule where you can only where each one of us can only pull one thing from the 77.
yeah, everyone
version.
only gets 177 and only one Dark Empire thing. That's the rules.
Mhm.
Exactly. Oh, and speaking of Dark Empire, I forgot to mention, when you guys had asked me to tell everybody what the rules and stuff were, I forgot to mention that like the one rule was that no naked Palpatine.
True.
That was the one rule.
It's just
Yeah,
like
it was,
it's the nuclear option. Like once someone goes there, like what else are the rest of us supposed to do?
Uh,
And can we really have
naked porkins
a-
apparently, and naked bug.
and can we have an extended conversation about naked palps without Jared being part of the conversation? I mean, let's be real.
Absolutely not. We need to have an episode of Cosmic Force with Jared just about naked Palpatine and naked Palpatine alone. I think we could
Not-
fill an hour.
not Dark Empire, not Dark Empire issue 4, just the last
Just like
2
the 3
pages
pages,
of that.
yeah, that are.
Exactly.
I think that's what
So-
it's gonna take to get Corey to rip us off the air. So I don't know if that's gonna. We'll see.
or our YouTube, whichever gets us first.
Even he has his limits, I think. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Tom, for the inspiration.
Yes,
I'm not sure if you expected this to come true, but it did. So it was a lot of fun. So, all right.
If it teaches you
next-
anything, good things come from playing video games. That's all I'm going to say.
That's very true. That is the moral of this story. Absolutely. I mean, you get those creative juices flowing, and yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to say here.
Group chat in Halo, best place ever.
Exactly. Alrighty, so next week we are going to be talking about minor characters who have major moments. That's gonna be really interesting. I'm gonna have to think on that one a little bit, do some brainstorming. But
It's just gonna be Lobot. It's all just gonna be.
Really?
I was gonna say
I'm sitting
Lobot's
here
the obvious
thinking-
answer here.
Well, I'll just,
All right, so that's
I'll
the
just
rule.
put
Next, that's the
just
rule
put
next
myself
week.
first and get it first.
No Lobot next week. Nope. I'm throwing
Yes.
it down there. No Lobot next week.
Lobot is the equivalent to naked Palpatine.
Yes,
in this
100%.
scenario.
Yes.
That's exactly. Wait a second. Didn't we get naked Lobot? Like a shirtless Lobot?
Yeah.
Am I making
was
this up?
there.
I don't
No,
know.
yeah, he was in a Bacta tank in that series.
Yes, he was. Okay. Nice.
Is that major?
Okay, that's I mean, I think it's pretty major. No, I'm just kidding. All right. All right. So, and then tomorrow, everybody catch Legends Look Back, where they're going to be talking about the 10 best Boba Fett moments in Legends. And yeah, there's going to be some dinosaur talk, I imagine, and it's going to be great. So definitely catch that. I know I am going to be watching. So Tyler, close us out here, buddy.
All right, yeah, there's nothing much to do here tonight, but to end this hilarious show. So that is going to do it for this week's episode of The Cosmic Force. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the show right here on YouTube, where you can hear us live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We also encourage you to subscribe to our audio version on whatever podcast platform you listen to. You can follow us on Twitter and tweet at the show at Cosmic Force Show to stay informed about Star Wars comics happenings, and for reviews, articles, and news for the rest of the expanded universe, be sure to visit utini.com. We encourage you to join our Utini Discord community by going to utini.com/discord, and you can help support the show by heading to patreon.com/utini and start receiving exclusive perks starting at just $5 a month. A special thank you to JG Karsh, OK Endar, Patrick Ortiz, Carl Sander, and RLQ on our Jedi High Council, as well as Matt Bellington, Kyle Hickman, Elizabeth Cloutier, Freddie C, and Sally and Chris Eilerson on our Alliance High Command for their amazing continued support. Thank you again to Emma, Caleb, and Jacob for hosting with me tonight. Thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. Man, it was a fun episode. And thank you to our listeners wherever and whenever you are joining us. We truly appreciate all of you. We will see everybody next week, but until then, may the Force be with you.